Hey, this is Ramon, channel is Alpha 4, and I'm completely exhausted. Instead of doing my usual weightlifting, I did some running tonight. Had a busy day with my girl. You can imagine. But that's not why you're here. You're here for my Bible study. And there's only 23 of you watching my Bible study. So, thank you. Should I say thank you 23 times? Alright, so, let's, you got 1,000 views basically on all my Quran study videos. Could someone who's watching my Bible study tell me what I'm doing wrong? What would you guys like to see me change up or do to help make this Bible study more popular? We only got about 10 more videos left before we're done with Genesis. I would like one of these videos, at least one of them, to hit 1,000. Okay, anyway. So we are in Genesis chapter 40. The summary. In the dungeon of the chief steward's house, after some time, the royal cupbearer and the king's or Pharaoh's head baker were thrown into custody and given Joseph as their attendant. The two royal officials had nightmares or dreams, and Joseph agreed to hear them out under God's providence. Joseph interpreted their dreams, that the cupbearer would go free, but that the baker would be impaled on a stake. And then 3 days later, which was the Pharaoh's birthday, Pharaoh held a banquet and restored the cupbearer to his office, but had the baker be put to death, just as Joseph had interpreted through God. Yet the cupbearer forgot about Joseph and his gift for the time being, especially in the interpretation of the dreams, and Joseph's willingness to offer aid to the distressed officials. We see that the factors of grace and works combine in a way that cannot be easily separated in terms of cause and effect. They can seem simultaneous, and each inviting the other. That the cupbearer then forgets about Joseph for 2 years is supposed to underscore that as mortals, we need to be patient in trusting God. This week's Bible is the NAV. So anybody who wants to hear what a Catholic Bible has to say, this is your opportunity. First off, from the notes, we have verse 1. Sometime afterward, the royal cupbearer and the baker offended their lord, the king of Egypt. My note here is that God is still with Joseph, even in prison. Then we get to verse 5. After they had been in custody for some time, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the jail, both had dreams on the same night, each his own dream, and each dream with its own meaning. God talks to all people, not just those adopted or elected or chosen as his own. This can be seen with Abimelech, Laban, the royal cupbearer, and the chief baker so far. This theme of God talking to more than just the Israelites will be seen throughout the rest of the Bible. And in the New Testament, you'll even see Jesus talk about the Good Samaritan. Then we get to verse 8. They answered him, "We have had dreams, but there is no one to interpret them." Joseph said to them, "Do interpretations not come from God? Please, tell me the dreams." Joseph glorifies God, not himself, in this verse. Then we get to verse 20. And so on the third day, which was the Pharaoh's birthday, when he gave a banquet to all his servants, he singled out the chief cupbearer and the chief baker in the midst of his servants. The note here is that Pharaoh's birthday could mean his name day or the day that he took the throne, which would have been the more common day for granting pardons and reprieves. And then finally, for my notes on this chapter, we get to verse 23. Yet the chief cupbearer did not think of Joseph. He forgot him. A possible moral to this chapter is do not love the praise of men more than the praise of God. And by praise here, I'm not talking about worship. I'm saying that when God gives you grace or glory, it's better to enjoy God's good graces than it is man's. Then I got questions. Question number 1. Could one read this chapter as being about God's grace? And then the next question I have, the second question, the last question I have is, what were the offenses of the cupbearer and the baker? Was there a discovered or suspected plot in the Pharaoh's house? I wonder if there's a broader story that hints at this. Not necessarily with these, but kind of like in the last chapter, how Joseph's story kind of intertwines and has themes that are coherent with a previous Egyptian story. I wonder if there's a story that relates or could fill in this information. If there's something in the Egyptian lore that could tell you about a plot against a king or pharaoh of Egypt. Anyway, that's it for today's lesson, or today's Bible study. Peace, like, and subscribe. Talk to you all later. Peace.